There's nothing quite like making new friends. But unfortunately, when it comes to making new friends, sometimes you just have to say goodbye. We're still in the BVIs, and we've been hanging out with a bunch of boats. Unfortunately, that time's come for us too, and we needed to say goodbye to them. We did have one last sail down to Luongo Island where we watched the Super Bowl. It was tremendously fun, and we had some pretty spectacular boat performance on the way there, hitting about 9 knots downwind. Unfortunately, the time came for Chloe to say goodbye to her friends, and that wasn't easy because she had a really good time. They're really cool people. You know we're going to keep in touch with them, but saying goodbye is never fun, and that was kind of a sad day for us all. After our boat friends left, things were a little more quiet for a little while. I got to spy on Chloe. She hates it when I take video of her playing the uke, but she's really good. Anyway, that was also a good time for Krista and Chloe to go back to Arizona to visit some relatives. And then when they got back, my buddy Gary showed up.
Boom.
We had some pretty good sailing weather, but like everything on boats, things break. And they break all the time. In this case, the autopilot broke, so we had to hand steer. Hand steering doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a pain in the ass because boats just don't go straight. They go all over the place, and you're constantly having to adjust things. Anyway, it didn't stop us from having a great time, and we showed Gary all of the coolest places that we know in the British Virgin Islands. Of course, this also meant introducing him to some of our favorite wildlife here, which are the sea turtles. These are hawksbill turtles, and up close, they really just look like something out of the dinosaur age. They're awesome.
Okay, so here we are at the baths. I sort of took the long way. Just gonna dive in here and we'll make the entrance to the bath. So there's the bag, and woohoo!
As with almost any proper tour of the British Virgin Islands, we had to go to the baths. But after that, we went to Valley Trunk Bay, which is easily one of my favorite beaches in the British Virgin Islands. Valley Trunk Bay is so great that I actually was wondering why it's not on those lists you see online of some of the perfect beaches. I think the reason is nobody wants you to know it's there. To start, the only way you can get to Valley Trunk Bay is by boat. The beach itself is surrounded by huge boulders on either side, and the beachfront properties are all private and behind a thick row of pine trees and I'm sure fence. Anyway, the puffy sand, clear water, I mean, it just doesn't get better than this. While Gary and I hung out on the beach, the girls did some snorkeling, and then of course, we went to go play on the boulders. The next day, we took Gary to White Bay on Jost van Dyke. This is sort of the piece de resistance of the British Virgin Islands. It has all kinds of beach bars, and of course, it has the famous Soggy bar. Say what you want about the entire beach, it's a bit of controlled chaos, but it is fun, especially on a Sunday, which is the day we were there. Anyway, as you can see, White Bay is like a giant swimming pool filled with boats, and if you've been there, painkillers. The painkiller is the drink that made the Soggy bar famous. It's a bunch of coconut and rum and pineapple, and it's really, really good, and probably gives you diabetes. Anyway, we had plenty of drinks, played plenty of games. The other thing about White Bay is it's just super friendly. I mean, you can go behind the bar and make your own drinks like RJ did, and we actually met new people. We met the Joneses there, and the Joneses were a family that happened to be on charter with RJ. We got to know them, and they were really fun, so we started hanging out with them. Unfortunately, this also meant it was going to be time to say goodbye to Gary, who had to go home. But before we left, we did see something really cool. we saw a launch of a SpaceX rocket which was putting Starlink satellites into orbit. And even though the launch was 1,100 miles away, we saw it along with other boaters all the way between Puerto Rico and Antigua. Anyway, the next day we went up to North Sound on Virgin Gorda, where you find Sabre Rock and the Bitter End Yacht Club. The main reason we went up there, though, was to meet up with McKenna, Chloe's friend, who was turning 13. Sing you happy birthday, or is it no? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. As you can see, they really loved my rendition of Happy Birthday and really appreciated me singing. So after surprising McKenna, we spent the rest of the afternoon on the beach in a place called the Sandbox. Then we headed over to Sabre Rock for cocktails and to the Bitter End Yacht Club for dinner. The Bitter End Yacht Club is unrecognizable. Bitter End Yacht Club was destroyed in the hurricane in 2017, and they have rebuilt it completely. But it wasn't just McKenna's birthday. Krista also had a birthday.
Oh my gosh. What'd you do? Holy cow.
Happy birthday! It's your birthday!
We're gonna party like it's my birthday.
It's a party just like it's your birthday. Happy birthday!
So what do I do for my wife on her birthday? I take her to the best floating taco bar in town. This place is called Limeout, and technically it's on St. John, but we're not going to tell anyone.
We made it to Limeout.
The next day we went to our favorite snorkeling spot, the Indians, and I got to try out my new freediving fins. I am admittedly not yet much of a freediver, but I'm trying and I'm planning on learning more, and at least I got to go through a cool cave. More important, the visibility was perfect and there was lots of sea life to see that day. So our time in the British Virgin Islands is coming to an end. Soon we're going to be making the jump to Anguilla, which is about 14 hours away and all upwind. At least it's usually all upwind. So importantly, we're looking for a really solid weather window to make that jump, and I'm thinking it'll probably happen sometime between March 6 and 8. We'll keep a close eye on the weather and make sure we go when it's safest. Anyway, I think that's probably going to be it until then, so next time we talk to you, we'll be talking to you from Anguilla. Hope everyone's doing great, and we'll talk to you soon.